I don't know that Hitler killed himself. I don't think he would have lived that long after World War II. The guy was so fucked up on so many drugs.
Yeah.
But like, I think he might have gotten back to South America. What do you think? What's up, guys? If you're not...
Yeah. I mean, that's, Operation Paperclip, not even just including the UFO aspect of all of this stuff. I mean, that's a crazy thing to realize that was legit. I don't know if you've seen this documentary on Netflix. It was a docu-series they did. I don't even remember the name of it, but the concept of it was there was like one of the worst, most feared Nazis by a lot of Jews who they like gave him some like really creepy name, like the
Hangman?
Something like, some really scary thing like that, right? And Jewish people who were in America from World War II started recognizing this guy in their town in fucking like Detroit, Michigan, or some small town like that, right?
Oh, this is the guard.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you look up Netflix? I forget the name of it. Is it called like Monster?
Something
Next
like
Door?
that. Yeah.
Monster. Look up Netflix documentary Nazi Guard. Yes, I saw this.
And he was working for some car factory or something.
Yes, the devil next door.
Yeah.
But there's controversy, like, is it him?
Yeah. Bro, when I saw the footage from the trial that they held for this guy, and they brought in the Jews to come, like some of these Jewish people, to go shake his hand. He wanted to shake their hand. The moment they made eye contact with him, like the way they cowered in fear, like, this is him. This is the guy. Like, I mean, what more do you need, you know?
Yeah, I haven't seen this in a while, but I watched this whole thing. I didn't know what to think because, first of all, you see those scenes and you feel for those people because you're like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, I can't even imagine. But also, it's tough because, like, they're so traumatized. And what if he just really looks like one of those guys? And they don't know. I mean, I'm inclined to be where you are, which is like you don't forget like those eyes.
I also think Amanda Knox was guilty, so let's just put that.
You do. Okay.
Just a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah. All right.
But
you snuck that one in there.
So I mean, most people don't. So if you feel the opposite, then I can see why we might disagree on
All
this.
right.
Too,
Well, let's stay on this. That's a separate one. But this guy was like a normal blue collar worker. He wasn't even a paperclip guy. A lot of the paperclip guys, they gave him a mansion in Huntsville, Alabama.
Really?
And put him to work. There's pictures of Kennedy sitting next to Werner von Braun.
Yeah, he wasn't
and shit.
like a scientist though, right? So I guess that was
this guy wasn't a scientist, but
he was just a demon.
It feels like the secrets of the world were all perhaps uncovered by some people in the aftermath of that war. How much is that getting on the mic, Alessi? What's going on outside?
Not a lot.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we should be good. But it was also then covered right back up because you have a convergence at the end, right? You have Russia and then even separate, like the United States and Britain all converging into Germany. And it was a race for who can get to what assets because, even between the British and the U.S., who were good friends, they both hate the Soviets, but they were all trying to get their own, like a pillaging, if you will. And part of Operation Paperclip is obviously the U.S. and Britain wanted to prevent Nazi scientists from getting into the hands of Soviets, so they're like, better us than them. But you have, in the middle of all that, a lot of guys who also weren't scientists who escaped through the rat lines. This is where you get into like the Catholic Church helping these guys out of Europe, which there's a lot of good evidence of that. And you get into what you mentioned earlier, them getting to South America and Antarctica. At the heart of it is the ultimate conspiracy theory, which is actually one that I think I do subscribe to. I've said this before, but I don't know that Hitler killed himself. I don't think he would have lived that long after World War II. The guy was so fucked up on so many drugs.
Yeah.
But like, I think he might have gotten back to South America. What do you think?
If I'm being honest, what I think is, and this is just what comes up for me.
Okay.
I really want to talk to Tom DeLonge and see how he came to the understanding that Roswell was German. Because for me, that's where one of the things that started me down this rabbit hole of the Antarctica and Nazis and all that stuff.
Are you saying like Hitler would have sent that or something?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, tell me what you know about why you think Roswell was German, because I'd be curious to see what he says to the answer to that question. Like, where do you think Hitler was? Do you think he survived? What do you mean it was Nazi Germans that crashed a flying saucer in the desert? You know, and that kind of connects back to the Hanabu craft, like, and Operation High Jump, you know? So that's why I'm saying there's all these connections just based off of him saying that and me starting to look into it. So to answer your question, I have no idea. I mean, Tim Kennedy is someone who's concluded that he made it to South America. Who knows? You know, I think at this point I'm more of a Schrodinger's cat type of thing, where it's like there's a probability that it's a combination or one of any of these, but until I open the box and see what's inside, I have no idea, you know?
Yeah, Tim Kennedy, some of the stuff you mentioned a couple times, but some of the stuff that he found and the team found when they went down to South America for what was a reality TV show, but I mean, it's haunting. There's some crazy shit down there. There are German strongholds, if you will, and it's crazy because, you know, the Germans they did have a backup plan in a way. They had paid off so many South American governments while the Nazis were in power, and they were paying them with plundered wealth. They were paying them with like stolen Jewish wealth and shit like that, and then they even were able to store it there, as we've come to know. And, you know, they were able to get some of it over there after the war and then use it in the South American economy, which is pretty crazy. But, you know, it's a real... I try not to, like, overstate it because it's been a lot of years and people like to run with conspiracy theories on this, but it is a real thing that there is a German Nazi contingent that exists to this day down there. I had a friend of mine, I've told this story on the podcast a few times, but a guy who's really well connected and could do some pretty crazy shit. He had a buddy of his at a major company call him up and say, hey, we got this deal closing with another major company, and what's going to happen is when it finishes, we are going to be bringing in their senior team is basically going to run that company here, and they're effectively going to be top 10, top 5 people at our company. And the problem is we got a problem with one of the guys. And so my guy says, well, what's that? And he goes, we think he's a Nazi. And my guy's like, same reaction, like, what? They're like, we think he is a German Nazi. Now he's like really laughing because he's like, okay, what are you talking about? They're like, well, he's a German descended guy from South America, and that's what we think he is. And so my guy's like, well, what makes you think that? Is he making comments about Jews? Like, what is it? And they're like, no, he's the nicest guy ever. Dressed perfectly, extremely pleasant, charming to everyone. And he's like, so what's the problem? And they're like, something about him rubs us the wrong way. We think he's a Nazi. So my guy says to him, you're crazy. I'm not going to take your money. It's not a fucking Nazi. Relax. But they keep coming back to him. And they're like, please do your thing. Check this guy out. You know, do some intel, whatever. And so finally he's like, look, I'm a capitalist. I'll take your fucking money. But this is stupid. Like, the guy, I don't know why you're worried about this. He's not doing anything. You just have some weird, like, conspiracy hunch. And they're like, just take the money. Okay, I'll take it. Fucking guy was a Nazi. He was a card carrying, saluting. I mean, my guy found evidence on it and everything. And he had grown up in South America. I don't know exactly who he was, but, you know, he was a descendant of some of the senior Nazi guys. And, you know, here he was, charming his way at the top of a major public company in like 2018, 2019. You start thinking about stuff like that, you're like, some of this shit runs pretty deep, no?
Yeah. I mean, the guy at the hotel yesterday was wearing a swastika wristband.
Yeah.
But
Again,
you said that's
I think that was
Buddhism,
right? based on his ethnicity, I think that's Buddhism, but someone should really tell him about that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like I said, the first time in New Jersey, I was like, hey, maybe that's just how they roll here, you know? He's like the third person I've met since I got to New Jersey. So,
God,
like, damn.
I can't believe he had that. Like, someone's got to see that over there. My guy, it's like a Holiday Inn. Someone help out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, he had long sleeves on, and I probably wouldn't have seen it if he wasn't holding my cell phone up to his ear because you were talking to him, you know?
It gets interesting. There's a image of a statue of Buddha. I don't know if we can find it, Alessi. Do like drone shot statue of Buddha on YouTube, and don't put us on the third screen right now because we're gonna have to get rid of it. But I'll show you in here. I had actually gone to use this when I was editing the intro for episode 143. This zoom shot out from this statue of Buddha. I think it's this one. There's a video of it on YouTube, and I had to use the zoom very carefully because if I let it come out too far, there's literally a swastika on it. But
Really?
This was an ancient, I forget the exact history, but this is an ancient symbol that Hitler just took as his own and bastardized.
Yeah.
I feel like it was supposed to mean something of like peace, or it was supposed to mean something like nice, whatever it was, and then Hitler shoves it on every Nazi flag and suddenly it don't mean that. But
yeah.
That's the power of symbolism for you right there. It's crazy, but it's nuts how their rise happens so quickly and their fall happens so quickly, and all that happened in that time. I mean, he didn't even get into power till 1932. He didn't even start making noise till 1927, 28, really.
Did you hear about his origin story, bro?
Tell us.
I mean, this will be a very bro version of his origin story, but it's kind of like a supervillain. Like, I guess he was in World War I, and trench warfare and everything. I guess like he survived a grenade blast that killed a bunch of people that he was standing right next to, and ever since then he was just like on a villain fucking mission, bro.
Yeah,
it's like a Avengers villain.
He's
the ultimate villain.
He blamed the Treaty of Versailles like on Jewish people, which was
CTE.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, I've
Grenade
never thought
blast.
of that. Maybe because he was so fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of drugs they had that guy on, he was on everything, bro. Every meth. I think he was on like coke. He was on everything. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't.
He's just podcasting on stage, bro. Just like podcasting with that rage fueled by drugs.
Dude, there's another. We can't show it because it has copyright material. But you ever seen the video of Hitler performing "Where Brooklyn At" by Biggie Smalls?
No.
Oh my God, that's exactly what you think. Like, he was such a weird talker that they've re-edited him, talking on stage, doing all this stuff, and it's like, I got my 7 Mac 11s on my 38. Like,
oh goodness.
And it's just like, oh my God. But there's stories that he was not.
You kind of sounded like Andy Milonakis when you rapped there.
Oh, I did?
A little bit.
That's a TBT.
Like white rapper.
That's funny as fuck.
Got my 7. He goes, I got my Lees on my head, but don't call me a Lee head.
Yeah. That was it. But he, there's stories that when he wasn't on stage, he was supremely not charismatic. He was like a boring, fucking quiet, socially awkward dude. But something would happen when that motherfucker got on a stage where, he's spewing just hatred everywhere to anyone he doesn't like. But he managed to do it with charisma that just hypnotized people. And I always try to put myself in the shoes of like people who get caught up in that group. But you were talking about tribes earlier. There's just something in us that can gravitate towards. I mean, we see it over and over again with cult-like figures that gravitates towards that, and suddenly rewires our mind to get behind things that we never would have got behind. I just don't know what that is about us as humans. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.